My name is s1Ep9 Barasa. I moved to Japan to teach English from Kenya. If you're interested, subscribe. You don't want to miss it. Come on, join the bandwagon. Hey friends, welcome back to a new video. If you're new here, hi, my name is s1Ep9 Barasa. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you haven't, like and leave a comment down below if you end up enjoying this video. Now, if your 2025 goal is to teach English abroad, this is the place for you. In this case, Japan. I like the sound of that. And like I said in the previous video, that so many things have been changing. The application process has been changing. The documents that you would need are even changing, evolving, and things seem to be getting a lot strict. So if you really need to apply, the time is now. Last week we talked about the interview stroke application process. This week, and this is something that I felt I need to address as early as now, are scam jobs. Yo. And I think as the industry is growing, as the opportunities are becoming a lot more, we also have lots of scams because people are trying to find opportunities to get something from vulnerable people. And so many people are going to fall victim. So I'm here to tell you what to look out for when you're looking for opportunities. I think that's very important, very important, especially in Africa. I think the scams might get you. Africa, Asia, like places like the Philippines, and in general, scammers are just scammers. They don't choose. Anyway, so what are the things that I would call red flags when it comes to job postings or applications? Number one is unrealistic salaries. Guys, I have seen this on TikTok. I have seen so many on TikTok, on Instagram, are posting with, oh, a 4-day work week. And the salary is like 700,000 yen every month. Even a teacher employed by the government in Japan doesn't earn that much. What makes you think somebody's gonna pay you monthly 700,000 to teach English to Japanese students 4 times a week? Please, run. If you see that, run. 700,000. To put it into perspective, 700,000 yen is like 700,000 Kenya shillings. That is more than 500,000, close to 1,000,000. In US dollars, how much is that in US? Maybe 6,000 US dollars or 5,500 US dollars every month. That's a lie. Run. Number two is they ask you for money. So if you're applying and somebody says, oh, you will need to send us this amount of money to facilitate this, no. If they have to ask you for money, it's not genuine. You don't have to pay anything to apply. From the moment you leave the country to when you get to Japan, no money is going to leave your pockets unless you're paying for a service, for example, getting your passport or sending your documents, original copies or transcripts to Japan or the UK, whatever place you've been asked to send to. You're not sending them the money to them, but you're spending the money yourself. So don't send anyone money. Don't. Okay. Next, I think this is very important. They have no domain on their emails. So if you receive an email from, let's say, certain organization at gmail.com, no. Not in most cases, 100% of the time, it's a scam. Because if they're a big company, they can afford a domain of their own. So it could be blah, blah, blah at companiesname.com, not at Gmail. It's very small, but that is something that you have to look out for. The domain has to be there. They can't be using gmail.com. No. Okay, number 4, informal language. What do I mean by informal language? It's like they're being too casual with pet names. My dear. My dear. calls you my dear when you're applying for a job? So in formal language, look for those things. And sometimes grammatical mistakes, like lots of spelling mistakes, um, very inconsistent, informal language basically. Things like my dear, that's a scam, sis. Bro, that's a scam. Run. The next point was convincing and looks too good to be true benefits. And I think an example is the 700,000 yen or a 3-day working week, or something like, oh, you don't need anything. You just need to come. You don't need a degree. Hey, I've seen those ones. That one, it's a scam. It's a scam. Run. Next is personal contact, i.e., social media or WhatsApp. If somebody is asking for your personal information, and I mean, of course, the company, there's a phone call interview to be done, but that there's a process, like there's a way you just give your number and they're gonna call you, but they shouldn't be asking for your WhatsApp information or your social media information or any personal information that is not related to a job. Don't do that. That's a scam. Next, sketchy patterns and they cannot answer questions. So sketchy patterns is like they're very inconsistent in what they're saying. And sometimes when you ask questions, they really can't answer because it's a lie. Yeah, it's a lie. Your answers should be answered. If anything, if they have a website, everything should be as transparent as possible. If you find loopholes here and there, very inconsistent, sketchy patterns, run. Mhm. The next one is sketchy looking adverts. What do I mean by this? For example, on TikTok, number one, those accounts always have zero followers. Mm. Sketchy looking adverts, zero followers. And then the job listing just looks like something that was done on, I don't know, I don't know. It looks like a child trying to make a presentation. It's like tiny cartoons, and then it looks misplaced. And then the information is like very sketchy, like you don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need this. It's just sketchy looking. Usually I just look at the account. It's usually like in a weird language. It looks like I don't know what type of language that is. The accounts have 1 or 2 followers. The username is like a zero KKTB09 with numerous things, just sketchy looking adverts. Those are not places you should be looking for positions, if anything. Don't go. I've provided you with websites and companies and where to look for those jobs. Go there. And even sometimes some scammers know that people go on certain websites, especially with websites, not websites, I mean like platforms like Gaijinpod, for example, they might post scam. I don't know. I've never experienced one, but I hope and I want to believe that it's a universal problem that some people might post false information and you will end up being scammed. So you have to be mindful of what you're looking for. The next one is they're impatient. It's like they just want you to do things as they say and they're not explaining they don't have an explanation as to why you have to do that. And they seem to be very impatient. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. It's on you. It's like gaslighting or guilt tripping manipulation, sort of. So they are impatient. Next one. This is very common and people ask me a lot about it. Tourist visa. That does not work with Japan. I'm sorry. If you're on a tourist visa, you're literally a tourist. And you're going to leave Japan maybe in 2 weeks, in a month if you're here longer. But don't think you can come here and want to convert your tourist visa into a working visa. You have to go back where you're coming from, apply, get a job, get a visa, and it has to be an instructor visa, or there are different levels to this, but as an LT, most of the time it's an instructor visa. I know there are other types of visas where you can teach kindergarten and all these things, but yeah, no tourist visa. Nobody should tell you, oh, I'm going to give you a tourist visa and then we can convert it when you get here. That's a scam. Things don't work like that. So I hope these pointers were important. And be very, very careful because not everyone has your best interests at heart. You don't want to fall victim of them. You don't want to lose money and waste your time and your effort and your energy. Just to paraphrase, if they ask for a tourist visa, they're impatient, sketchy looking adverts, sketchy patterns, or cannot answer questions, personal contact, i.e., WhatsApp or Instagram, convincing and looks too good to be true benefits, informal language, no domain or on their email, they ask you for money, unrealistic salaries. And I give an example of 700,000 yen. So if you see any of these things, pack your bags and go. You're about to get scammed. I hope this information was helpful. See you again next week. Same place, same time.